Hi guys. While I was recently in the ICU for my colectomy, sleeping on my side was just too painful. I had no choice but to sleep on my back. I really hate sleeping on my back. It is uncomfortable. I feel like I can't breathe. Anyways, it was interesting because the high-tech monitor they had me connected to kept alarming apnea whenever I would fall asleep on my back. Ironically, AeroFlow Healthcare reached out to me shortly after this revelation took place in hopes to raise awareness for sleep apnea. They are actually the company that delivers my oxygen therapy to my home bi-monthly, so I happily obliged. For years, I have had nightmares every single time I try to sleep on my back. I was told this could be a sign of sleep apnea. Sometimes bad dreams are the body's way of awakening us when there are pauses in breathing, like in the case of sleep apnea. Ironically, AeroFlow Healthcare reached out to me shortly after this revelation took place in hopes to raise awareness for sleep apnea. They are actually the company that delivers my bi-monthly oxygen therapy, so I happily obliged. Sleep apnea is a condition in which breathing stops and starts during sleep. Obstructive sleep apnea is the most common, which is where the muscles in the throat relax and close the airway. Symptoms include daytime fatigue, loud snoring, but not everyone with sleep apnea snores, keep that in mind, dry mouth, waking up gasping for air, insomnia, and a morning headache. Treatment involves wearing a CPAP machine/mask, and that stands for continuous positive airway pressure, and it is designed to counteract those pauses in breathing while it administers a continuous pressure. AeroFlow offers at-home sleep apnea tests, but before purchasing the kit, it is important to determine your risk level for sleep apnea. They have multiple online quizzes in order to do so. And I figured how fun would it be if I took the sleep apnea quizzes right here on camera to show you guys my answers. And of course I will link the quizzes down below so you can also take them. And then I will link the sleep apnea kits to just let you know. The first quiz is called the snore score, and question number 1, are you a loud and or regular snorer? No, not that I'm aware of. No one has ever told me that I've snored. I've asked and they've said no, so I don't believe I snore. Number two, have you ever been observed gasping or not breathing during sleep? No, I have not, other than in the hospital when the alarm was alarming apnea, but no one's actually physically witnessed me not breathing. Number 3, do you feel tired or groggy upon awakening, or do you awaken with a headache? Yes. I would imagine most people with a chronic illness do not wake up feeling well rested regardless of your diagnosis. Number 4, are you often fatigued during waking hours? Yes. Number 5, do you fall asleep sitting, reading, or watching TV? No. I am not one to fall asleep during the day, ever. I can't even fall asleep in the car. I'm very, very, very particular about my sleeping conditions, and I have bad insomnia, and it can take me hours to fall asleep, especially when not in the right conditions, like when there's noise in the background or that sort of thing. Number 6, do you have problems with concentration or memory? I know a lot of people have brain fog as one of their symptoms, but I cannot say that I have significant issues with memory and concentration. So this says that if you answered yes to any of these questions, you are at a higher risk for sleep apnea. Speak with your physician about testing. I answered yes to 2 of those questions. Okay, the next quiz is called the Berlin Sleep Apnea Quiz. There are 3 categories with multiple questions in each category, but depending on your answer to some of those questions, you may not have to move on to the next, if that makes sense. So, category 1, question 1, do you snore? No. Because I do not snore, I can just omit the rest of category 1. So, category 2, How often do you feel tired or fatigued after you sleep? Almost every day. Number 2. During your waking time, do you feel tired, fatigued, or not up to par? Almost every day. Question number 3. Have you ever nodded off or fallen asleep while driving a vehicle? No, I don't drive. I can't drive due to I get random stroke-like episodes, seizure activity, low blood pressure. I can't drive. I used to, but no, when I was driving, I never fell asleep while operating a vehicle. So I have 2 points total for category 2. Category 3, do you have high blood pressure? Okay, I do sometimes have high blood pressure, but recently I've been more on the lower blood pressure trend here. When my mast cells are very set off, I tend to have higher blood pressures, but right now for some reason it's just low. The next part of category 3 is a BMI calculation. If your BMI is greater than 30, then you are to add 1 point because that increases your risk for sleep apnea. But my BMI is 14.4 at 5'3" and 81 pounds. I definitely do not have that particular risk factor. If there is only one or no categories where the score is positive, then you are at low risk. The next quiz is called the Epworth Sleepiness Scale. Number 1, sitting and reading. Would never doze, slight chance of dozing, moderate chance of dozing, or high chance of dozing. Slight chance of dozing. Please ignore this beep. It's my pump and it's running out of battery. Watching TV. Would never doze. Sitting inactive in a public space, a theater or a meeting. Would never doze. As a passenger in a car for an hour without a break. Maybe if it was like a road trip, there was a slight chance, but not for an hour. Number 5, lying down to rest in the afternoon when circumstances permit. Slight chance of dozing. Another reason I don't like falling asleep during the day is that in the mornings, because I have dysautonomia/POTS, postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome, mornings are the worst time for that. My vitals, like my circulation isn't the greatest, and so my blood pressure is low, and I black out more and have increased tachycardia. And when I take a nap during the day, it's almost like having 2 mornings. So it makes my symptoms worse most of the time, and that's why I try to avoid napping. Question 6, sitting and talking to someone. I would never doze. Question 7, sitting quietly after lunch without alcohol. Slight chance of dozing. Sometimes when you're full or sick after eating, you just want to lay down. Question number 8, in a car while stopped for a few minutes in traffic. I would never doze. Okay, so my score is 12.5%, and I scored 3 out of 24 points. That means that it is unlikely that I am abnormally sleepy. Now, the last quiz is called Stop Bang. That is a kind of weird word or title, but here it is. Question 1. Do you snore loudly, loud enough to be heard through closed doors? No. Question 2. Do you often feel tired, fatigued, or sleepy during the day? Question 3. Has anyone observed you stop breathing during your sleep? No. Question 4. Are you being treated for high blood pressure? I was on a beta blocker for my dysautonomia POTS. That is kind of the treatment they use for high blood pressure, but that's not what I was using it for. So I'm going to say no. Question 5. Is your BMI more than 35? No. Question 6. Were you born on or before 1967? No. Question 7. Is your neck circumference greater than 16 inches? I haven't measured, but I doubt it. Are you a male? No. Your score is 1 out of 8. Congratulations. Judging by the quizzes, I seem to be at a relatively low risk for sleep apnea. I don't fall asleep random places. I don't snore excessively. Yet, they did catch apnea on the monitor just a couple weeks ago. 32% of patients with Ehlers-Danlos syndrome have obstructive sleep apnea. And in this study, 46% of those patients were the hypermobility type, which is the type that I have. In my experience, those with EDS are kind of weird. We don't always fit the typical mold of a diagnosis. And a sleep apnea diagnosis is that much more complicated because of EDS comorbidities. For example, mast cell activation syndrome causes insomnia. So and the adrenaline surges from dysautonomia make it to where it's difficult to just fall asleep during the day or at any time. So I think that it's wise that we all get tested for sleep apnea. If it could potentially improve our quality of life, then I think it's worth it. I hope this video was informative to some of you, and I will see you in next week's vlog, and thank you for watching. And look how cute this is. I purchased a stuffed colon online from iHeartGuts. I did it in the hospital when I was high on fentanyl, and I didn't remember I even ordered this until I got home and it arrived at my door. But it's too cute.